is looking back at the events of August 1969, which kick-started 40 years of political conflict.
That month saw an explosion of sectarian conflict in Belfast and Derry. This evening we focus on one particular Belfast street which became synonymous with the Troubles.
Conor Macaulay has met some of the people who were caught up in the nightmare that was Bombay Street.
The County Down coast is a world away from the birth of the Troubles, but Malachy and Patricia Sharvin were there when they started. Patricia's parents lived in Bombay Street, which was destroyed during sectarian upheaval in August 1969. A government report found that Catholic homes had been attacked and in some cases burnt by a Loyalist mob. Malachy and Patricia had gone to help move her parents out. They have a record of their presence there on August the 15th of that year. In this photograph, Malachy is on top of a van, loading the family's belongings. Patricia looks on from the street, her hand on her head. It's part of a set of images that have only recently been published.
Everyone was running about in panic, and nobody seemed to be organised at all. It was just everybody looking after themselves, and it was quite horrific, just totally horrific. A lot of bad memories from it, all right, but so much has happened since then, but it was terrible.
It was just completely unreal. I couldn't believe it was happening. I thought I was in a movie and I was wondering, I was in a bad dream. I thought I was going to waken up and this hadn't happened.
Nationalists believe that Bombay Street proved the need for them to defend Catholic areas. That led directly to the birth of the modern IRA. Amidst that early violence, most people didn't think much further ahead than a couple of days. But some interviewed at the time showed great clarity about the consequences of all that was happening.
If everybody's revengeful, it'll just keep on and on and on. And all the small kids that have seen this happening now, they'll remember, and it'll just keep on and on until this place is just a battleground.
Do you not feel that people can live together?
In the days after Bombay Street was attacked, journalists asked people living there what they thought would happen next. Among those interviewed at the time was Sean Meehan, then 20.
The only thing I could see they could do would be live one every other house and bring them up together instead of putting one this side of the street and one the other side of the street. Would you mind that? No, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Schools, would you?
Yes, bring them up together from no height.
Now 60, it's the first time in 40 years he's seen this interview, and for him that period evokes painful memories.
My life changed on the 14th of August, between the 14th and the 16th of August. The whole world changed, you know. I could have went anywhere in Belfast on the 14th of August. On the 16th of August I couldn't. And that was the complete change in 24 hours. The line across Belfast was drawn, you know.
Like many young men on both sides, he got caught up in the violence of 1969.
I did get involved, but then I decided that it wasn't for me, and I left. And thanks be to God I did. Because I reckon an awful lot of young people on both sides of the divide in those days, if they had turned the clock back, they wouldn't have joined any paramilitary organisations. But unfortunately, that's the time we lived in. It was the time of the gun.
When the flames of 69 had subsided, Bombay Street was rebuilt, but many who'd moved out never returned to the district where they'd been raised. The tumultuous events that happened in this street 40 years ago helped to shape the attitudes of an entire generation. Where once there was free access between the Clonard and Shankill districts, a peace line was built. And whilst the gun may be all but gone from politics here, it'll be some time yet before there's any appetite for the decommissioning of the steel barriers that still separate these communities.
And the still pictures of Bombay Street in Connor's report were taken by the local amateur photographer Jerry Collins. Later in the week, we'll take a closer look at how the peace walls went up, and we'll be asking if they'll ever come down. On tomorrow's programme, we'll hear from reporters on how they dealt with the sudden burst of street violence.